Right, Warhammer 40,000 Marine, THQ, Relic Entertainment, and obviously it's a new Warhammer game. The last one that was really successful being the Dawn of War franchise, and I wouldn't be surprised if Marine is going to be the first in many of a franchise. But anyway, the game itself, well, personally, Warhammer's always been slightly interesting to me, mainly because of the sort of art style and look of it all, not due to playing it. I just remember painting the little models and that was about it. So I'm not really invested in the story, so I might not be able to get the full whack of what the demo has to offer, but I'm going to delay over my impressions of what there is. First off, there are two sections in the demo, both of them lasting about 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes, depending on difficulty setting. They all kind of do the same sort of thing, apart from the second one showcases the jump pack, which is alright, but it doesn't feel all that brilliant at the same time. I mean, once you've used it for like the first minute or so, you kind of get the idea that that's about it, that's all it's going to get used for, which is slightly disappointing, but you know, if it's a slight variation in gameplay, in which this game needs, I should add. So yeah, the second, I think it's the second part of the demo, is the jump pack section, which you'll be just jumping from territory to territory using the slam attack to take out the opponents in the higher up parts of the level, where the AI sort of does nothing below, because the AI is pretty dumb on the friendly side, well actually on both sides really. So yeah, not much to say about the second part. The first part of the demo is basically just showcasing the core gameplay, which is sort of hack and slash mixed with gunplay. It's not exactly perfect in terms of controls. The controls tend to either feel a bit too clunky, and at times when you're sprinting a little bit too sensitive. It's a weird mix. Other issues I had with controls is it doesn't really feel like you're doing a whole lot. You've got your shoot button, you've got your grenade button, you also have your melee attack, but you just press the same button for melee attack and it does all these combos. It would be nice to have some sort of variation, mix things up. You can also slam into opponents and stun them and execute them, which gives you health. I'm not entirely sure if I like that idea, because it kind of becomes a little bit annoying, because when you're grabbing someone and execute them and get health, you can also be getting attacked by someone else, so as soon as you get the guy and execute him, get your health back, you're going to drop straight back down because you've got a bunch of them attacking you from behind. It would be nice just to have like a medikit or something. I don't know what the exact terms were on a Warhammer board game, tabletop game, but yeah, it would be nice to have a little bit more variation in terms of getting health other than just executing people over and over. What I will say is the executions do look quite nice. There only appears to be like 4 or 5 for each melee weapon, which is a little bit disappointing. I mean, I might be wrong, in the full version you could have plenty, but in the demo at least there's only a few, and a lot of them, depending on which melee weapon you use, kind of look the same. The gunplay isn't that brilliant, it doesn't really feel all that beefy, it kind of feels a bit weak, and the only time you're really going to use it is if you haven't got access to a jump pack and there's enemies above you, and even then the chances are you won't be really enjoying using the guns. I mean, the sniper rifle just doesn't feel all that effective, kind of feels a bit lightweight, and which is quite confusing considering the world that you're in. You know, Warhammer 40K, things are supposed to be big, massive, heavy, you know, really strong and powerful, yet all the guns just kind of feel a bit weak, a bit underdeveloped, a bit, you know, light, which is again disappointing. I should note that, you know, this is a demo. In the full version they might have like, you know, guns that really do feel powerful, but in the demo they don't feel that great. So basically the core of the game is just hacking and slashing through waves and waves of orcs, and I think later on you get a verse them elder things, but as I said, I'm not really 100% sure on the technical terms for all the enemies. But in the demo you're just hacking and slashing through orcs with your chainsaw, sword, your ripper, whatever it's called, and yeah, it's kind of fun, but at the same time you do feel a bit, you know, this is getting a bit repetitive now, because there isn't a whole lot of variation in how you attack them. You just tap X over and over again and he just does the same combo over and over again. and there isn't any sort of hint towards if you can do anything else in the full game within the demo, which kind of worries me, because I'm not sure if I would be able to sit there and just hack and slash over and over again. So yeah, the core gameplay isn't all that great, and it honestly does feel like there should be a cover system for when you're getting shot at by the enemies with rifles, because they will tear you apart. It does feel a bit odd that there isn't any cover system whatsoever. Audio wise, it's alright. It's not brilliant. It's not like sort of where you're going to sit there and be blown away. It's just adequate. The voice acting on both the Orcs and the Marines, it's alright. It's nothing brilliant. You won't be sitting there in amazement. But then again, given the nature of the game, voice acting doesn't really come into it. Visuals, the two levels that you're playing in are very sort of dark and brown, very dull visually. But I will say that they've done a decent job on the armour of Marines. That they look fantastic. The Orcs kind of looked a bit lacking detail almost, and some of the character animations are odd. Other notes on the demo: there are a couple of bugs. I've got one recorded here, which you should have seen somewhere around the 5-minute mark, where an enemy like goes into the steps. He's like stuck into the steps mid-execution, and it looks ridiculous. And them kind of things do take away from the enjoyment of the game. But yeah, other bugs, I didn't really find any other than someone threw a grenade at us and it kind of disappeared for a second and reappeared and blew up, and that was a bit odd. But yeah, the Warhammer 40K Marine demo, I don't think it's going to set the world on fire. I don't think it's going to be Game of the Year contender. It's going to have a cult following, given, you know, Games Workshop is pretty big in terms of cult followings. And I really did promise myself not to say anything about, you know, Gears of War, and I know Gears of War is very, you know, taking a lot of inspiration from the way Marines look, and the sort of archetype of the Space Marine is from the Warhammer 40k world. But nevertheless, with Gears of War 3 coming out, I honestly think that Warhammer 40k Marine might have a bit of a problem distinguishing itself. Hopefully the multiplayer will, you know, give it a bit more of identity and all the unlockables and whatnot, but they weren't present in the demo, and this is the demo impressions. So overall, I mean, you know, demos are there for you to enjoy, for you to try out. Personally, I wasn't blown away by it, I wasn't totally impressed by it, I just thought it was adequate, it was okay.